Hello everyone, welcome to TutorialsPoint. In this video, we will be learning about Bohr-Bury scheme and we will be also applying this scheme to write the electronic configuration of atoms of different elements. Now, from Bohr's atomic theory, we know that the electrons revolve around the nucleus at certain circular discrete orbits. Now, these electrons are not randomly arranged in the shells of an atom. There is a particular pattern that these electrons follow while getting into the shells of an atom. Now, this pattern or arrangement of electrons in particular shell of an atom is given by Bohr-Bury scheme. Now, this Bohr-Bury scheme is basically a set of rules that needs to be followed while filling in the electrons in the shells of an atom. So, let us see what these rules are all about. Now, there is a fixed number of electrons that a particular shell can accommodate. Now, the first rule gives us that information, that is, how many electrons can be accommodated in a particular shell. So, the first rule states that the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in a particular shell is given by a formula that is 2n squared. Now, n in this expression represents the orbit number or the shell number, and it takes these values like 1, 2, 3, etc. Now, let us calculate using the 2n square formula that how many electrons can be accommodated in all of these shells. Now, for k shell, the n value is 1. So, when we substitute the value of n as 1 in 2n square, we get an answer as 2, which means that there can be maximum 2 electrons in k shell. Similarly, for L shell, whose n value is 2, when we substitute this value to 2n square, it yields the answer as 8. So, this means that there can be at most 8 electrons that can be accommodated in L shell. Similarly, for M shell, whose n value is 3, the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated is 18. And similarly, for N shell, the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated becomes 32 electrons. Now, this essentially means that the K shell can have maximum 2 electrons. The next shell, that is L shell, can have maximum 8 electrons, and the M shell can have 18 electrons, and the N shell can have 32 electrons in total. Now, I have left these two shells blank. The reason is we need to consider the second rule as well when we go on filling the M shell and N shell. So, let us see what this second rule is. Now, we know that the electrons are grouped into shells inside an atom. Now, among those shells, the one that lies at the outermost edge of an atom is said to be the outermost shell or the valence shell of an atom. Now, any of these shells can be a valence shell. Here, the second rule says that the maximum number of electrons that an outermost shell can have is 8 electrons. It means that if L shell is the outermost shell, it can have at most 8 electrons. Similarly, if M shell becomes the outermost shell of an atom, then it can also have 8 electrons. But just now we have learned from first rule that M shell can have maximum 18 electrons. But this one is true when M shell is not the outermost shell. But when it becomes an outermost shell of an atom, its capacity reduces to 8. Now, similarly, for N shell, we know that its capacity is 32 from the first rule, but whenever it becomes the outermost shell of an atom, its capacity again reduces to 8. Now, this rule has an exception, that is the K shell. We know from first rule that K shell can have only 2 electrons in it, and even if it becomes the outermost shell for some atoms, its capacity remains the same, that is 2 electrons. It never becomes 8 electrons according to the second rule. So, this was all about the second rule. Now, let's move on to the third rule. Now, whenever we go on filling the shells of an atom, we do it in a stepwise manner. It means that we fill the K shell first to its fullest capacity, that is 2 electrons, and then we can move to the L shell and fill it. Now, only when this L shell goes to its fullest capacity, that is 8 electrons, we can move to the next shell and fill electrons, that is the M shell. Similarly, when M shell is fully filled, only then we can move to N shell and fill it. So basically this is done in a stepwise manner. So the third rule says that the electrons are not accommodated in a particular shell when the inner shells are not fully filled. It means that we cannot go on simply and fill the L shell when the K shell is not fully filled with 2 electrons. Again, we cannot simply fill the M shell when the inner shells, that is K shell and L shell, are not completely filled. Now this was all about the third rule. Now let us make use of all these 3 rules that we have learned and arrange the electrons of the atoms of certain elements. Now an element boron has an atomic number of 5. It means that it must be having 5 electrons. Now from third rule we know that we have to fill the K shell first. And from first rule we know that the capacity of K shell is 2 electrons. So we will be keeping first 2 electrons in K shell. Now again we are left with 3 more electrons. So we will be moving to the next shell, that is L shell, and we will keep all the 3 electrons in L shell. So this is how the electrons are arranged in the shells of a boron atom. Now let's take another example. For a sodium atom whose atomic number is 11, it must be having 11 electrons. So we'll make use of the same rules to arrange the electrons for sodium. That is, we'll fill the K shell first with 2 electrons and then we are left with 9 more electrons. So we'll arrange those electrons in the rest of the cells. We know that the capacity of L shell is 8 electrons. So we'll be placing all the 8 electrons in L shell. And again we are left with 1 more electron. So we'll move to the next shell and place it there. That is the M shell. So this is how the electrons are arranged in a sodium atom in its shells. Again we'll take another example, that is calcium whose atomic number is 20. So we have 20 electrons here to arrange. We'll follow the same rules to arrange the electrons. That is, first we'll fill the K shell with 2 electrons and then we are left with 18 more electrons and we'll fill the L shell with 8 more electrons. So 2 plus 8, it becomes 10. So out of 20 we have arranged 10 electrons and we are again left with 10 more electrons. Now it's turn for M shell to be filled. We know that the capacity of M shell is 18 from the first rule. But here comes the second rule. That is, the outermost shell cannot have more than 8 electrons. And here our M shell becomes the outermost shell. So it is for sure that we cannot keep more than 8 electrons in M shell. But we have 10 more electrons to arrange. So we will be keeping 8 electrons in M shell and the rest of the 2 electrons we'll keep it in the another cell, that is the next cell. So all the 4 shells, that is K, L, M and N, are occupied with electrons here. So this is how the electrons are arranged in an atom of calcium. So in this way we represent pictorially the arrangement of electrons inside the atoms of the elements. But there is a specific representation of electrons inside an atom which we call as the electronic configuration of the atom. So the electronic configuration is basically a representation of the arrangement of electrons inside an atom of an element. Now let us take a few examples and understand what is this electronic configuration. Now for an atom of fluorine whose atomic number is 9, it has 9 electrons. So we will be placing first 2 electrons in K shell. The next 7 electrons we will be placing in the next shell, that is L shell. So for K shell there are 2 electrons and for L shell there are 7 electrons. So its electronic configuration is represented like this, that is 2, 7. And from here we can clearly notice that there are 2 electrons in K shell and 7 electrons in the next shell, that is L shell. So electronic configuration gives us an idea that how many electrons are there in particular shells of an atom. Let's take another example of chlorine whose atomic number is 17, which means that it must be having 17 electrons. Now we will follow the same steps to arrange the electrons here. That is, we will place 2 electrons in K shell and the next 15 electrons we need to place in the rest of the cells. So we will move to the next shell, that is L shell, and place 8 electrons there. So 8 plus 2, 10 electrons we have already placed. We are left with 7 more electrons to place. So we will place all these 7 electrons in the next shell, that is M shell. So its electronic configuration becomes 2, 8, 7. Even from here we see that the electronic configuration clearly shows how many electrons are there in K, L and M shells. That is, 2 electrons are there in K shell and there are 8 electrons in L shell, and M shell has 7 electrons in total. Now for an atom of neon whose atomic number is 10 must be having 10 electrons. So let's arrange these 10 electrons in the shells of an atom. So we'll place 2 electrons in the K shell and then we are left with 8 more electrons which we will be placing in the next shell, that is L shell. So here we notice that both the shells of neon atom are completely filled and its electronic configuration is 2, 8. Now let's have a similar example, that is of argon whose atomic number is 18. So we'll have to arrange 18 electrons here. So first we'll arrange 2 electrons in K shell and then we are left with 16 more electrons. So we'll place 8 electrons in L shell and rest of the 8 electrons we will be placing in the next shell, that is M shell, and therefore its electronic configuration becomes 2, 8, 8. Even in this case we notice that all the shells of an argon atom are completely filled. Now such electronic configuration or electronic arrangements in which all of the shells of an atom are completely filled are said to be the most stable electronic configurations. Now for a potassium atom whose atomic number is 19, we will have to arrange 19 electrons here. So let's follow the same procedure. That is, first we will be placing 2 electrons in K shell and then we are left with 17 more electrons, out of which we will be placing in L shell 8 electrons, and again we will move to the next shell. Now this is M shell and we have around 9 atoms to be placed. We know that the capacity of M shell is 18, but here it happens to be the outermost shell. So we will make use of the second rule, that is the outermost shell can have at most 8 electrons. So we cannot place 9 more electrons in M shell. So we will be placing 8 electrons in M shell and the rest of the 1 electron we will be placing in the next shell, that is the N shell. So here the electronic configuration becomes 2, 8, 8, 1. It is a kind of different from the rest of the atoms that we have seen. So let us see one more such example, that is of calcium whose atomic number is 20. So we will have to arrange 20 electrons here. Again we will place 2 electrons in K shell and 8 electrons in L shell, and again we will be placing 8 more electrons in M shell because it becomes the outermost shell, and the rest of the 2 electrons we will be placing in the next shell, that is the N shell, and here the electronic configuration becomes 2, 8, 8, 2. So this was all about writing the electronic configuration of atoms of some elements. So in this video we have learned about the Bohr-Bury scheme and arranged the electrons in the shells of an atom, and we have also seen how to write the electronic configuration of the atoms of elements. I hope you all had fun learning this lesson. Thank you.